Hi guys, I'm Wendy with Walk by Faith Counseling, and I wanted to do another edition of From Trauma to Healing. And I wanted to tell you guys my why. Why am I doing this? So oftentimes people have experienced trauma in the African American community, and we don't even understand what trauma is. It's been normalized, and we've been taught to keep it in our house. What goes on in our house stays on in this house. We've been taught to sweep it under the rug. We've been taught to laugh at our pain. We've been taught to minimize those things that have drastically changed our lives. And so when we talk about trauma, I want to bring the emphasis on how it alters not just our personality, but also our DNA. Trauma changes your DNA in the way how you think, the way how you perceive things. The word in science is called epigenetics. 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 Epigenetics is the way how trauma is transformed in the brain, and it changes your DNA, and it's actually passed down through your DNA. So let's say, for example, I can have a generational trauma from 2 or 3 generations ago that I did not experience firsthand. But because it was passed down in my DNA, I'm having the same trauma responses as if I experienced it firsthand. It alters your brain. And I want to tell you guys that there is hope. There's hope in God. There's hope in therapy. There's hope for your tomorrow. You don't have to stay stuck in your trauma. There's 3 different types of trauma I like to talk about. There's acute trauma, there's complex trauma, and then there's chronic trauma. Those 3 traumas can be a variety of things. And most of the time in the African American community, if we have food scarcities or if we're brought up in a single parent home, we don't realize that those things are traumatic. So as we continue to talk about trauma in the From Trauma to Healing series, I encourage you guys to get real so you can heal. I want you guys to be able to expose those things and not suppress it so you can continue to move forward. You take the sting out of things when you expose it. You take the power away from it when you begin to talk about it. But you have to be careful who you talk to. You don't want to talk to someone and you get caught up in a pity-patty story. Oh, woe is me. No, you want to talk from a standpoint of victory. You want someone that's going to be able to encourage you. You want to be able to depend on God. I'm reminded of the scripture that says, "Behold, I am the Lord, the God of all flesh. Is there anything too hard for me?" And my answer, every time I ask myself that question, is no. There's nothing God can't heal. So whether your trauma is being brought up in a single parent home, whether you were sexually abused, whether you had chronic homelessness, whether you had no family at all, whether you had to go to school just to eat, no matter what your trauma may have been, there's nothing that God cannot heal. And even if your trauma is from 2 or 3 generations back, again, there's nothing God cannot heal. So again, I would like for you guys to tune in. Please continue to like, subscribe, follow, share. You can reach me at wbfcounseling.com. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. Thank you guys.